My name is Ashley Boze, and I graduated from Hopkinsville High School in 2001. So I considered being a nurse. I also considered the possibility of going to medical school, but was a little bit apprehensive of my ability to actually be able to do those things. So when I started college, I actually just kind of went into it with let me just try to figure things out and see what I want to do and maybe what field I wanted to go into. So at the Pennyroyal Center, I am the Director of Substance Use Services, and I am ultimately responsible for the administrative supervision of all substance use programs within our 8-county region. I am the administrative supervisor of over 125 staff and 3 residential programs and then outpatient services as well. So I really enjoy my job at the Pennyroyal Center because every day is something different. It's something new. It's essentially a second chance. They're working to change their lifestyle, change different behaviors to make themselves better for themselves, their family, their friends, their communities. So it's advocating, and that's one thing in my job that I love the most, is really advocating for others and empowering them to do more and to make healthy lifestyle changes that are going to make them better individuals. So one great characteristic that I think is absolutely necessary for a social worker is to be able to problem solve. So a lot of times we run into situations where it doesn't seem like there's a solution, but being able to think outside of the box is one thing that I love about being a social worker, and definitely one thing that makes being a social worker kind of easy is because I do think that I'm able to problem solve, think outside of the box, and it's kind of fun in being able to work that way in solving problems. There, especially at the Pennyroyal Center, we have a lot of different positions that are in the service field or the helping field that may not require a 4-year degree or a complete 2-year degree, which would be like a technician or an aide position, which is a lot of hands-on working with clients one-on-one. And being able to provide supportive services, but not necessarily like the clinical piece to it. We as staff come on at the Pennyroyal Center, we are able to provide specific training on specific duties that are required in positions. So I know the programs that I directly supervise, there's a training process and a shadowing process where someone who is seasoned and has been there for a while will train anyone that starts new. And then they are able to attend additional trainings as well, like for suicide prevention, mental health first aid, which helps individuals become more familiar with the population that we work with. I first went to college at Tennessee Tech University in Cookeville, Tennessee. Basically, why I decided to go to Tennessee Tech is because nobody else was going there, and I wanted to be a little different and kind of venture out on my own. It was far enough away from home, but close enough. I had a great experience, but it was too far. I really missed my family, and I really missed my friends, and being able to go and see them on a pretty frequent basis. So that's one thing that contributed to me moving back home and transitioning to Western Kentucky University, which is where I completed my 4-year degree. I have a master's degree as well in social work, and I received that from Western Kentucky University as well. I actually went back and got my master's after I had moved back to Hopkinsville after completing my 4-year degree. So there are a lot of things that I would have changed about my high school experience in preparation to going to college, and even just for growing up and my long-term career. I didn't focus a lot on my studies in high school. I spent a lot of time with my friends and not as much time studying. My grades weren't terrible, but they could have been a whole lot better. I also didn't really prepare for the ACT. I took it once and got a score that was okay, but wasn't great. I think that if I had given myself more time, I kind of waited till last minute. If I had given myself more time and could have studied or taken it and then retaken it, I think that would have been more beneficial. I also think that making the decision to go off to college, though it sounded like a good idea at the time and I wanted to be different, ultimately it wasn't a good decision because I was homesick. I wanted to come home. Adult life was difficult to adjust to, being away from what I had always known to be. And so I would have definitely hung around a little bit longer. I think I would have explored staying at community college for a couple of years, getting adjusted to adult life. I worked the entire time I was in college, so getting adjusted to working and paying bills and going to school here with what was familiar and before moving away. So I definitely would change that if I had the opportunity to go back. I will say when I returned to school to get my master's, it was in 2008, and I had been out of college for a couple of years. My focus was completely different. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be a social worker. I knew I wanted to help people, and I knew I wanted to help people by being a therapist. While I was in graduate school, I made a 4.0 the entire time because I was focused, because I knew what I wanted to do. So my path for my master's was a whole lot different, with a little bit thinking my decision through a little bit more, as opposed to just kind of doing what I thought would be, different and outside of the box. Being a social worker is probably one of the most rewarding things in life. Being able to work with so many different people, walking in so many different shoes, coming from so many different places in life, it's one of the most rewarding things. There are difficult days that you just kind of think, like, what am I doing and why did I go into this field? But ultimately it is so rewarding. And it's one of those things when someone comes to me and asks, how do I become a social worker? It excites me about bringing new people into the field, because it is so rewarding. And for other people to have such happiness that I have in being a social worker, that's exciting to me.